Well, I can tell you that this is a very alarming situation for employees at the Arizona Supreme Court this morning after law enforcement confirming to those staff members that a suspicious package in the mailroom tested positive for homemade explosives. I want to step out of the frame here to give you a better look at the scene. We are at 15th Avenue and Washington Street, and you can see there is a large police presence investigating this situation. As I mentioned, we are told that the suspicious package was found in the mailroom of the downtown court building, and staff alerted law enforcement, who then initiated evacuations. So we don't know when the suspicious package was delivered, but those evacuations happened between 10:30 and 11 this morning. We're hearing that DPS is going to be taking over the investigation, but we do see Phoenix police responding on scene as well. And DPS officials have been pretty tight-lipped at this point in the investigation as to all of the specifics as to how this all unfolded. But we also heard about a possible bomb threat at the state capitol, and at that point DPS told us that they were investigating a suspicious package. At this point, no word on any connections between those cases. DPS was not able to confirm if evacuations happened at the state capitol, so a very developing situation that we will stay on top of. Reporting live, Michaela Marshall for Arizona's Family.